how's this full setup we got here?
It's dope.
Pretty sick. Well, welcome back to the podcast, you guys. Nate and Koa podcast, episode 5. We got John Pyzel coming on. Mine and Nathan's surfboard shaper. And if you guys could like this video, subscribe to our channel. The support is greatly appreciated. You guys are awesome.
Boom.
Nice. Look who we got. Special guest.
The chicken?
Didn't you?
Pretty much.
Oh, wait.
Isn't podcasting supposed to be like you talk and there's no videoing? This is vlogging.
I'd like to move. We're not filming right now, right? This is
You're being recorded.
On. Before anything starts, what about the breadstick?
Yeah, no. You know that's a trigger word for me to leave.
That's a trigger word. Okay,
This is not gonna be. Oh, is this
episode
the
5.
breadstick?
Episode 5. Give us the intro, Pyzel.
Okay, episode 5. We're here with the Dumb and Dumber podcast with Nathan and Koa.
We're our first guest, and possibly our greatest guest to grace us with his presence.
Definitely your best guest so far.
John Pyzel.
Without a doubt, number 1 guest so far. Sometimes I feel like you guys are like maybe watching, like it's like Dumb and Dumber meets Beavis and Butthead talks about surfing.
You're not one to talk. You're
I'm
just
not-
as bad.
Okay.
Let's need a cup of coffee or an energy drink or
You
something.
know that's
What
you
were
know
you
that's
shaving
illegal.
today?
Yeah, that's illegal. This time of day, Dolly won't like that. Whoa, pressure's on me, huh? I shaped your brother a couple boards. After he reported back to me that his 6.0 was working really good at 10-foot sunset today.
Oh my god, so you wanted more of those?
No, we're just working on like refining those things. But I'm all, where'd you ride that board? He's like, sunset. I'm like, isn't it like?
You read 6-0.
Yeah. It's like
sunset.
it's like out like Victory at Sea sunset. And then
Sunset was like
yesterday
10
I'm all,
feet.
yesterday I'm all. I'm guessing you didn't try that board yet. He's like, actually I did surf logs. It was.
I broke it.
10-foot logs. It was a great testing ground for it.
He came to my house to pick that board up 2 days ago, and there was 2 broken boards in the back of his truck. One was, I loaned this one to Kieran. Just destroying something.
Yeah,
That
broke
one was
so
like,
weird.
Yeah, it was like. It
I've
wasn't
never
just like
seen
a
a board
straight break.
break
It
like
went like. It went like.
Oh, that's so weird. Where were they
Anyways.
surfing?
Secret wreck.
There's a secret spot.
I remember what it was like to surf.
And then
Secret, yeah, so secret wreck.
you would have been there. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Nate has broken back.
Broke
How
back.
is that going, by the way?
It's good.
Any
I'm
reports?
completely healed.
But you're not surfing.
Totally fine. Just the waves just turned off. So right now, do you want to go for a surf?
The better the waves
Should we
get,
go body
the
surfing?
more healed I feel at this point.
Let's go down to like shore break.
No, I think I'll be back in the water in like 2 weeks. Maybe.
2
That's
weeks.
X-ray.
So
Maybe possibly.
I will tell you that I started making some bigger boards for you.
Yes.
But they're not. They just got clearance to get cut.
The new ones, thrusters.
Yeah.
This year I went all thrusters. You guys have heard me say it. I had many
You
theories.
just can't help but
The
look at the
first
camera, huh?
was epoxy theory, and now thrusters on all my guns.
Okay.
Wait, so where's my
Thrusters.
thrusters that I ordered the guns?
You didn't order any.
Oh, it's one of these.
It was like an
Ordered
ambush
one.
situation here. Oh God! You know what? Time is really flown by. Has it already been 20 minutes? Gotta go. Yeah. Here's the deal.
Tell us.
Here's the new
What
deal.
happened with
okay?
mine? Because I put in
Nothing,
an
nothing.
18 order.
Oh yeah.
18 boards you ordered.
Yeah.
That was like.
I got 3 of them.
You got so many. He already broke 16 of them.
Oh my god.
No. So here's the new deal.
Okay.
New year, new deal. You must email me to receive boards.
I've
No
got
more
this.
texting.
First,
John
I
is
texted
the only
Pyzel.
one that emails me
I
every
texted
time.
Pyzel. He said,
John
you need to call
Florence?
me.
Yeah.
You need to
Can
call
you
the
believe that?
shop. I said, I did that. He said, you need to email me. I emailed you. Okay, well, text me again right now. that was how the order
Come over to
was.
my house and talk.
Okay, well, just tell me one more time.
Stop by later, remind me.
Yeah.
Write me a note.
Anytime-
Leave a little note on
Send
my
pigeon. Send messenger pigeon.
Tie a note to your cat and send it to my mail.
Anytime I see when I need boards, you're like, yeah, just text me. I'm like, I thought I was supposed to text the shop. And you're like, no, text me or it's not going to get done.
That's Mia at the shop. Text Mia.
There's no Mia that works at the shop.
Totally, there's Mia.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out Mia.
She's the one.
Okay.
Shout out to Mia.
She'll get all our orders pushed through.
Yeah, Mia's the girl.
Okay.
Okay.
So, do you have any new models you're working on right now?
There's this secret model. It's called the
Breadstick?
it's called the crouton.
The crouton.
Is it really?
That's Nate's new model. The crouton. It's pretty sick. He just asked for it yesterday. I'm making one right now.
It's Koa's worst nightmare. Koa's YouTube following would go in rebellion against that.
I don't know what would happen. There'd be an uprising.
There'd be an uprising.
I think I've made it pretty clear about the breadstick and when that is going to happen. Never. But anyway.
Is there any new models you're excited about this year?
You guys are getting real serious now.
Tell us about them.
Yeah, the board one, the two boards. The one I can't really talk about it, but I mean I don't know. I just don't want to like say the model names because then people start. It gets funny, but
got it.
It's awesome. But the board that your brother's been riding a lot, that squash tail.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the main one. I think will be pretty good.
Yeah, he was telling me he sounded really excited about that board.
He's super stoked.
What's
like
your
a good
favorite model?
Pyzel.
Really?
Really?
Which,
You
to
still
be
make
clear, I did not name myself. Someone else named it.
Ah.
Pyzelian. I feel like it's the least used board.
Dude, it's the best board. That thing is insane.
And
everybody that I make that board for, except maybe your brother John, hates it. No matter what I try to, like every year and a half, I make him one and pretend it's something different, and he's like,
he knows.
He just looks at it and he's all, this is Pyzel.
To me, it feels like one of those hipster boards.
Not even.
It's like a novelty sandbar fun day, maybe once in a while board.
No, I think it's like if you have to go surf Huntington or something like that. That
really?
Work insane. Yeah.
Like a comp board almost.
Like kid Taro Watanabe. Taro, he loves that thing in like Huntington.
I thought like that was what the Shadow was being designed into, kind of like more volume.
Yeah.
More
the same idea, but different rocker. I think the Pyzel is really good, personally. But you guys don't like it, I guess.
I don't really like it.
Yeah.
Isn't that the twin fin one?
No, just the regular like swallowtail. See, that's what you're just confused.
I gotta try one.
Ivan loves them.
Ivan loves
Ivan.
Well, that's the other board too. That the two boards that we're gonna come out with soon is another one that I made for Ivan.
Like a modified version of that.
No, it's just like a stubby little like short little
mini ghost style.
No, even more squished.
Whoa.
With a wide nose.
Shorter.
And yeah, like Ivan's was a 5.6.
Whoa.
And he loved it, and it was like because I was thinking of Ivan for like airs, like skatey style, you know what I mean? Where he's just like boom, 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 like kind of like free flowing, and it's kind of flat rockered, super fast. So that's a pretty fun board.
Oh,
I think
that's
Ivan,
exciting.
Yeah, Ivan really liked that one, and then John actually liked it when he was on that trip in in Fiji on that boat trip. He was riding one of them.
I don't remember what I thought he was on one of those.
It was like I think it was when you were gone. It was like him and Eric were surfing some spot, and they didn't film it or anything.
What about guns?
You guys are the experts.
And do you think that'll eventually, like, to what we've been working on, like first it was the Padillac, then it was modified to like the Porto Paddy, which we leaned down version of the Padillac, and now it's gone even like further. Do you feel like those guns are evolving more towards our pipe step-ups, just in bigger versions?
No, I just think they're a little cleaner.
Because we're going less volume, a little more knifey, more step up. Like we're not necessarily going.
Well, it depends on different guys too. Like Koa's boards aren't like that. His big boards are still like the same original ones, and even like a lot of the boards like Healy was riding, even the one your brother is riding.
Dude, how was in the Eddy? There was like 8 guys on Pyzel guns.
Pretty much everyone was on a Pyzel.
Everyone's on a 9.8 Padillac, like the same.
Well, there's some 10.4s too.
Yeah.
It was funny. There was like guys that you could tell have had them longer. Like Healy, he's like, oh, I rode that 10.4 in the second heat, not the first heat. And then I think Landon had a 10.4 too.
Yeah.
And then I made a 10.4 for Nick Von Rupp that he rode, and that was just something he just thought like that's what he wanted to order.
Yeah.
But then when he was here, he's kind of like, I wish I had a smaller board.
Like a 9.0.
And then you were riding the 9.0.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you were a 9.0.
In the yard, Pyzel comes to me. He's like, "What are you riding?" I'm like, "Oh, I got my 9.0." He's like, "That's way too small." I was like, I was literally almost about to bring my 8.6 down.
Yeah.
I didn't bring it.
Yeah.
And John's like,
I don't
just
know.
please take out your 9.6. So I ended
for
up,
a second he at least them all.
Yeah.
Just go a little bigger. Like I'm
Yeah.
just watching closeout sets behind him while we're talking.
Yeah.
Like
Any other day than I know,
Maybe.
but that day,
Yeah.
like, more bored for
well,
sure.
that day was really confusing at my man because usually when those big sets come in, you see them come in and you just sit there on like right on the
Yeah,
ledge.
it wasn't.
But that day was very hit or miss if it was going to be there or way out and chip in.
It was either like super far out. It was almost like
Yeah.
I know exactly.
That's why I use such a small board out there
Yeah.
because usually you just have to sit underneath it.
Yeah,
And that's why I like
It's
those.
like squaring up. It's
Yeah.
not like easy.
It's just like
chipping.
elevator drops
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
But
I know. I was watching. I watched some of the footage, and I was like Nick on his 10-4, like him and Healy are really different. Like Healy rides, he gets back on the tail on his boards no matter what.
Yeah.
Like no matter how long it is, he tends to like tail ride. But Nick, I saw in like the middle of his board, standing up and like taking his drop, and like there's so much tail behind him, like kind of
So
like what
good.
happened to you.
Yeah,
But
like-
like he was fine. But like
It makes it way harder to maneuver.
it's
like
trippy
that.
when you look at it and you're all, oh, there's like 6 feet of board behind you.
Yeah.
that's not
That's
good.
pretty gnarly.
No, you would
Yeah.
definitely want
5
to
feet
stand
aboard
closer
behind
to
you.
the fins.
Yeah.
I saw Healy the next day and he was using a different surfboard. I don't think
Yeah, he had some-
you shaped it, but
No,
the nose of it looked like
Yeah.
in a Rubik's Cube was put, it was like this thick
Yeah,
and like a square.
yeah.
On the nose. It was like, it was just cut. You didn't
What do you
shape
like?
that?
You,
No.
Are you talking about like a beak
Oh.
nose?
I know exactly what
No,
you mean.
like I have a photo of it.
They're super
somewhere.
weird.
I'll
Yeah,
pull
it's
it
this,
up.
the guy
Like
Ron
dome-
Anderson is
dome
making
deck,
sports.
one of those ones
I
like.
don't know, dude. it was
No,
like
it's just
I have to show you. It's like
That's
and a
so
Rubik's
weird.
Cube was put on the nose of
And
his
it's just
surfboard.
because it was tons of
Why
volume,
would-
like made
Yeah.
the paddle.
It looked
You
like a
changed
side.
the colors.
Yeah. Well, it was just a full square.
Change the volume on command.
It looked like someone put a full, like a little box
That
in
is
the
so
nose.
weird.
And that was it. Yeah, it was like
Like a
shaved
little
off
weighted,
perfect square.
little weighted thing.
yeah.
But-
He rode a different board in the first heat, and then he switched to that 10-4 in the second heat. But
Mm. How have the
Healy likes big boards.
he likes the longer 10 4. I think we go shorter.
We go shorter.
But
John was on a
It's
9.8.
changing. Like, look what-
You were on a.
9
Well,
6.
I wonder how big Luke's board was. 10-0 maybe.
yeah, I'd be
Yeah, it
curious.
looked like a
yeah.
10 up. He kept getting those chip-ins from outside. That
Yeah.
were like
He was
such
getting it
beautiful
so
waves.
easy.
We were like making it harder on ourselves. Me and a few other people were just
Yeah,
like, we
Taking
gotta
up
sit
right on the
inside.
slab, yeah.
What? Which
Well, it
you
was
usually
weird,
have
too.
to do, and
Dude, I saw guys literally take off in the middle of the bay.
You guys are
On
taking up
waves.
in the
I
middle.
saw it, like it was like
Direct
you were in
center.
the center. You're just if you went straight, you would have just ended up like at the river mouth
Did
or
you
further over.
Did you hear what happened to Landon after his one closeout set? He got
Yeah.
pulled into by the jump rock, and he was like, I took
Oh.
9 waves, and he's like, I thought I was gonna die.
And no skis were grabbing him.
One of the guys shot in after,
Oh.
like he said it was like his 8th or 9th wave. He thought he was gonna pass out. He was just taking beat down after beat down in by the rock and getting pulled deeper. And then he said one of the guys shot in and got him out. And he
But
was like,
was it-
I think I would have died. He said
Did-
it in his Instagram
holy
caption.
shit.
Did they not see him, or they just couldn't get in because of the?
I don't think they
like
could've
it was.
gotten
It was
in, yeah.
focusing over
Yeah,
there
it
so
was
much.
gnarly.
That was another thing that made that whole thing like as a spectator, it made it so much more gnarly because there was like.
You
Remember we were sitting there.
30 foot
It wasn't
left
just
on
like
the
a
other
wave
side.
here. We're like you would see more over there first.
Yeah,
Almost. You're like, look,
yeah.
here it comes, and then it would come here.
Yeah.
Or like
That
you could
is
see
so
alligators
sketchy.
in the background too.
How
just
good
like,
did that look?
Yeah,
Oh my
that
gosh.
left
looked
was spitting
crazy.
barrels.
Gosh.
Yeah,
It was
that
insane.
was a gnarly day.
Yeah.
So
That was pretty
how
fun.
have the big boards changed that you've seen over the years of big wave
Honestly,
surfing?
From like the first one of those boards I made for Healy, they're not like the rocker is almost identical. Like I barely changed anything in the bottom of the board.
Yeah.
If anything, just like you were saying, like especially when you started asking me for like to go into Porto.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, it's not a ever really. I mean, it's a roll in a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's gonna get steep no
Yeah.
matter what. And then you want to like get up into a barrel.
Yeah.
So that was like where we kind of pulled the noses in a little bit, and then like Billy too at Jaws was like, oh, pull the like the rail down a little bit more up in the front half of the board,
Yeah.
just to kind of let it set because you're standing so far forward to set that rail front side. Because when those guys, it's different backside and front side completely.
I
Yeah,
swear
it
you
is.
should have. I swear for guns, it's so different to the point that you should have 2 boards:
Like-
a backside gun
Yeah.
and a frontside gun.
Yeah.
Because you can get away with so much, like moving so much more board frontside. Backside, you have to go
You're
leaner,
just-
smaller.
You
like
should just
if
start
you're gonna pump.
using asymmetrical boards.
I will never, ever
Isn't
use
that like
an
an
ace.
Look at this thing. I can make
I
you
will
one
never,
board for both of
ever
those.
use an ace.
I made helium ASIM for
No.
like this. It was like a Surfer's Journal article or some article somehow. They're like, he's gonna get 4 boards that are like different, just make weird boards. And so I made him an ASIM like 9.8 or something.
Yeah.
And it had mostly it had a round pin on one side, and then it was like a swallowtail, a bump swallowtail on the other side, like up tighter.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And I just remember the only time I remember seeing that board in action was at Waimani. He went left.
Oh, when he was on his kick of.
And he was
going
supposed to go
left,
right.
Yeah. And it was a board that had
He
like
went left on the wrong side of the ASIM.
probably yeah. It's like, no, you're meant to go right only. He had another one that had like it had this like humpback whale fin carving like curves in the outline of it.
Imagine a
That was,
board
like,
you could only go one direction on.
Remember when Fisher made the dick
Yeah.
surfboard?
Penis
Yeah.
toe board.
That's kind of what ASIMs remind me of.
Yeah. You're
That's
all-
exactly. That's the only thing I think of when I see a board that's not symmetrical.
It might
all the
as
way
well be a
around.
penis board.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. But what's your best-selling surfboard? Like what model
The Ghost.
sells the best? The Ghost?
Yeah.
Out of everything, like
By,
is
like,
it like
By a ton.
by like 15% of our
You
boards.
show me the
Ghosts.
percentages
That's
on that. I
crazy.
was
The
baffled.
next one's like 6% or 5% or something.
And what's after that?
Goes down to like the Phantom, which is another
The
board. that's
Phantom was
from them.
mind blowing because
It's funny because
people love it, but we don't.
no one rides it. Like
Yeah.
you
I
had one.
have
You
an
had a
old
few
one.
for a while. Yeah.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
ordered one actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I ended up.
I don't remember you getting that order. Did you
You
text
just
me?
deleted my order.
Next year.
Did you text me?
Nate's got a broken back. You're making his board, and I literally just put in an 18
I
surfboard
literally,
order.
dude,
Yeah, I made like 16 of them.
I called him one phone. I called him. I said, "Oh, the Eddie's gonna run. Like, do you think those guns are ready?" An hour later, I called him like, "Hey, actually, no rush on those guns. I just got some news."
He's all, is my toe board almost done? It's gonna be pumping next week. And I'm like, what?
Where were you gonna go tell?
Yeah, I'm all.
I don't know. what
With
I
your
was
broken
thinking.
back?
No, this is like the morning before his doctor's appointment. Like he's driving there, texting me about it, and then
this
an hour later, it's like, never mind.
Never mind, my spine is
I
broken.
got some bad news.
I
I
can't.
can't grab a toe rope.
That was funny.
I was
when
kind of
you-
like sad for you, but kind of stoked for me. I didn't have to make that toe board.
I still need it.
selfish.
I still need
Selfishly,
it.
I was like,
I ordered a toe board.
Like you
We
told me,
need toe
you're
boards.
all my back's working. I'm all, yeah.
I'm like, why'd you say? Oh, nothing. Nothing.
So
I
bad.
gotta go.
No, I did not do that. I did not. I just
know.
felt bad for you.
I
I still do. But you don't
Jeez.
seem
But
like
I still
really.
need those
I feel like
toe
you're
boards.
kind of faking it. You just didn't want to go there.
It was too big.
Yeah,
The shootout was too good.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I forgot about that.
Oh boy.
You missed both.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
That's
It's gonna be okay.
unfortunate.
Pain.
And how about this? Let's just discuss this new reality is.
Okay.
It is now the end of January. All of the pro surfing world has just arrived here, and will be here for the next 6 weeks.
We used
Is
to
that
have
super weird?
these amazing late season months.
I trip
Yeah.
out. I'm like, I keep like seeing people. I'm like, why is that person here? And I'm like,
It's
oh yeah,
crazy.
the pipe
Yeah.
contest is about to start, and then
Yeah.
after that is sunset. There's 6
Oh,
weeks
shit.
of pro
It's
surfing.
a
Sunset
Yeah.
is a CT.
Yeah.
That's a second event of their
So-
tour.
No
So
way.
this is basically essentially this is November.
Yep.
Right now is
Mhm.
November surf season wise
Yeah.
as far as like pro surfing. This is like November on the
Which
North
is
Shore.
insane because it was already
Super weird.
crazy
Yeah.
in November and
Yeah.
it's just revving
Yeah.
into like full
Yeah.
Super weird.
scene mode.
I was tripping out on that. Like
So-
at Kona's birthday the other night, I'm like, what are all these pro surfer women doing here? I'm like, oh yeah, they're in a contest next week.
Yeah.
Ah,
The forecast doesn't look very good for them.
No,
not
that's
really.
horrible.
For-
Somehow every single year the shootout gets
Scores.
the best waves at Pipe. For the past I swear 6 years.
And also, you guys use every single day of the waiting period to have a contest.
In around 4 days.
So-
in a row.
It's so sick.
Well, that's the
Well,
cool
yeah,
thing
they're
about
doing
that
the-
contest.
So,
Yeah.
dude, the one-armed boogie boarding events today. Just
No, they only ran one day in kind of okay surf. They ran all the other events besides shortboard.
yeah,
The first day, I think, the holding period started,
yeah.
and then the forecast went to shit up until the very last 2 days of the holding period,
And it was just
and then we
fire.
just got the best pipe of all time.
It was
Which is
kind of
crazy.
crazy pipe too, though.
It
like
was-
there was like super good waves, and then there was waves that look super good until they just
Until they were not
detonated.
super good.
Yeah.
right.
Well, it was doing that thing it doesn't always do, where it was missing on the second day. It was missing second reef and focusing every bit of energy on
Waves
first
that
reef.
should have broke on second
Yeah.
reef were just going.
Yeah, it's because it was so west and had
Yeah.
such a long interval. It was just like the
That was pretty
craziest
nice.
pipe.
The only flaw was like there was still kind of some sand piled in there on the end a little bit, but
It
that
was
either made
crazy.
it either like a gnarly closeout or like an incredible wave too.
Yeah, you
you
got
see
that, like-
those sandbar ones that just get all super sick
Ugly.
color and just like. roar.
So
good.
much sand
Good
moves. I
No,
thought we
the ones that
gonna
were
get-
good though.
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, not most of them.
They would
weren't,
hit
but, like,
if they hit right, they would hit the double up on that sandbar and just go
just
another whole
natty,
section.
Yeah.
But that look of it is cool when it goes from the reef into the sand.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
two
The
different
color.
waves put together.
The color of it changes. It looks
Yeah.
all sick.
Has John changed anything in quiver wise for this year?
Just that new board that like he'll probably ride that thing. Like his whole thing was always like, you know how he's like simple, like keep it simple, which is smart. And then he went.
What do you
from,
mean
like,
by simple?
just like not too many options? Like
Yeah.
he's like Rain Man. He just wants like
Yeah. Yeah.
of surfboards. Like I want it like this.
Okay.
You know?
He
Not in a
wants
bad way.
Yeah.
He wants
He just
reliability.
He doesn't want to go to a contest and like try to figure out which board should I be riding right
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
That's his like eliminate those questions
Mhm.
before heat. I think is his kind of his thinking.
Seems
And-
smart.
Yeah, and it works apparently.
And at one point, like everything was kind of leaning into, or it seemed like it was. There was like a lot more epoxy being used and different materials. Is it now gone back to just like
I feel
reliable?
like that stuff
PU?
changes. Like you went through that even
I was
and like
tweaking on it. Yeah.
and then it's like
That was a bad call.
I don't.
It works in some. It works really well. Epoxy theories works really well in some things.
Well, I think
Surfboards.
some of your like 6.0s and
Chopes.
stuff
It
like
worked
that.
insane at Chopes. Clean face, no wind. Pipe, not so good.
Yeah, you're all. I want all epoxy quivers.
I ordered epoxy guns
Two weeks
for John.
later after getting result. Yeah, I still laugh at that. Like I guarantee that they get unwaxed to this day. No,
I'm
no,
going
no,
to use it on a
never.
clean day.
Yeah.
Epoxy gun.
I have to have this.
You don't get it. I
I'm all-
need it.
I'm like, I guess I just have to indulge this. And like, okay, I'll go for
But
it.
it was worth it though because now I read that next step shortboard I've been using,
Yeah.
epoxy.
Yeah.
It works insane.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah.
that
That's,
board
that
is
makes
so
sense.
good, dude.
Well, dude, I made a squash tail version of that for
Oh,
Benji
really?
Brand. And
Yeah.
he's like, this is my.
Yeah.
He already had these other
I was
shortboards that he
talking to him about
loved,
it.
and then I made him one of those just to try. Avocado.
Avocado.
And then he's like, oh, he traded me back all those other shortboards. He's like, I just want that other board. More
Yeah.
of those now.
Yeah, I seen
He's
him
super
in,
psyched on it.
one of the trips, and I was talking to him. He's all psyched. He's like, "Oh, I'm on Pyzels now," and
Yeah.
then
Oh, you sponsored Benji.
yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, Benji's
and I was
cool.
like,
yeah, I'm stoked.
"Dude, you gotta try this next step, but in a shortboard."
Yeah.
And then he was all fired up.
Yeah, I made him. I didn't change much. Mostly like the outline, and then just like made the rail a little bit fuller because those things are real like knifey.
Yeah.
Just made it a little more chunky feeling for a shortboard kind of, but not much.
That's what I ordered in my toe board. I said, "Make me a next step model toe board with a swallowtail,
How often do you tow?
epoxy toe board."
Just the lightest towboard you can. Lighter
I
than
like
a
it.
showboard.
Can it be 3 pounds? 3 pounds would be ideal. I think it's
Okay.
super duper light.
Epoxy toe board. Here's the thing. It's gonna be the
I
greatest.
saw Kai. on this one. That's like Nathan's favorite thing.
Kai
I saw
is-
Kai.
I
You
feel
guys
like
see
I saw
Kai?
Kai. He wouldn't let me hold the board, but
Well,
this is what I thought I seen.
Kai covered the board with a towel when I approached him. He took out his pants and threw him in the bushes so I couldn't see him.
I feel like Kai Lenny and John are two people that a lot of people cannot really compare themselves to with
No.
what they ride.
No,
Right.
because they're so in tune with
No,
what
but
they're
John's
riding.
boards are just exactly the same as what you guys are riding. John would go like, well, what about Kai? He's doing this. You know, I've talked to you like about
Yeah.
that fluttery thing. Like
Yeah.
if you watch him, I just don't believe that that's for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For windsurfers.
You're already
got a
fluttering. You guys
windsurfing
are
background.
fluttering on freaking normal boards.
I hate leaving the wave.
Yeah,
Like,
why
I
would you want to
can't
do that?
stand
But
it.
that's normal to Kai because
Yeah.
he's like, I windsurfed since I was a little kid, and
Yeah.
I kiteboard and I do all this other shit.
Yeah.
So like he's flying floating around, and it's not for
It doesn't look like
it's
fun.
not for normal. If that's where your background is, it feels okay.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you're
you
used to
feel-
feeling that
yeah.
feeling all the time, or a lot, then it's
Yeah.
different. But anyways, that's why I was reluctant to make that 9.8 epoxy board for you that you still haven't ridden 2 years ago.
It'll get rid of
Let's
it.
just say you're never getting another one. Even if you're like, this is the best board, I think it's the best. I only got one wave.
It's not about that.
Okay,
We're talking toe boards.
I have a question. Can you explain to people what's the difference between epoxy surfboards and like normal poly surfboards?
Yeah, super easy. Oh, well, first of all, epoxy's resin. Everybody calls them epoxy surfboards. It's just a kind of resin. So you're just really saying like that's the wrong name. It's EPS, which is the expanded polystyrene is the foam, styrofoam, right?
Got it.
Styrofoam. So it's really light. That foam's light because it has these really big cells, and it has a lot of air kind of inside that. It's not totally tight. It's fused, but it still has this opening. So it's very super light, but it's a weird strength. Like it's kind of hard to, depending on the weight. But if you get a real light one, they're soft as shit, right?
Okay.
So you get this really light core versus a PU normal blank is a heavier core, but it's also a lot stronger for its weight. And then you put you're putting two different kinds of resin on those boards. The EPS, the styrofoam blank, you put epoxy resin, and the epoxy resin is harder.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily stiffer, it has a different flex.
Stronger.
But it's stronger.
Yeah.
But it's also a lot more expensive. So that's the thing where you're like, oh, an epoxy board, and it's also a lot harder to work with. Like a lot of glassing shops won't even use it. Different people.
What do you mean? Like harder to sand or
no,
harder
it's more precise and more like it just takes like it's like a special skill set of glass. It's a subset of glassing.
Does it go through the machine differently?
No. The blank, the shaping part of it is real similar. For me, they're real easy either way. It's basic. As far as like the tools you'd use or whatever, it's not any like harder. But the resin itself is what makes the big difference there. And then also you can put epoxy resin on a normal PU blank and it'll be fine too.
It'll be super strong?
It'll be super strong, but it might be a little stiff.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is you can't do the other way around, putting normal like polyester resin, like normal board resin on styrofoam, it just literally dissolves and falls apart.
Melts it.
Crazy.
So the pluses I would say are like lighter weight, but when you get, let's say the boards weigh the same, the EPS epoxy board's going to be stronger than the other board.
Okay.
Overall, right? But it's not like where people are like, oh, this board's not, it shouldn't have broken, it was this. It's like everything breaks, everything dings, everything dents.
And is the
Everything
feel of
breaks.
them like an epoxy just feels way more whippy and lively under your feet?
Partially,
is it the lightness or is it the flex on the foam?
It's two different, both. So you have it. It's just like apples and oranges. Like they're both fruits. They're just different. You know what I mean? You can't really be like,
it's up to you.
Apples like this. I like apples, or I like oranges.
Yeah.
Like we like different things. And then I think for you guys too, when you get used to something, like when you started switching over, both you guys, when you started riding EPS epoxy boards, you're like at first you're like, and then you're like, oh, I love this. Like, but it was like. It's like repetition. It starts to feel normal.
I love them more for shortboards.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I
I'm
phased out of them
saying.
for anything over.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, that's you just get used to something too, right? So, but the basics is that you can make an EPS board a lot lighter than you can make a normal board.
Yeah.
With similar amounts of glass on it, you can make them a lot lighter.
Okay.
And that doesn't mean they're just as strong. When they're lighter, they're more likely to break. The other thing that people always get confused, they're like, oh, EPS or epoxy boards paddle better. They paddle higher out of the water. It's totally wrong. Like I talked to the guys that own.
I thought that too.
Most people do.
Must just be a mental thing. Like,
no, it's simple.
It feels.
If it's lighter, it paddles better. It's like a boat. You take two identical boats, put them in the water.
Yeah.
If one weighs twice as much, it sits down in the water and drags.
Yeah.
One weighs less, it floats better and paddles, goes across the surface better.
Yeah.
It's super simple. There's no like. The material makes it paddle
more
better.
Buoyant, yeah.
It's lighter weight.
Got it.
If a board's lighter, it paddles better than a heavy board.
Oh, good to know.
Like, think about it, you know? It's just
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There you have
Interesting.
it.
The all-knowing John Pyzel.
I just asked someone else.
Does one take longer to make, or like
epoxy boards like EPS, epoxy resin, like regular resin is like hard in an hour. You can flip a board over. You can do one side of it, flip it over an hour later and do it. Or even in sun cure it, you can do it in 15 minutes. Like you can make a board like that.
Really?
Yeah. like epoxy resin takes almost a day, like it's like a solid day or half day to cure per side, per thing.
No wonder glass.
And that's everything, like sticking in the fins, you have to wait like 6 hours before you start the next process or whatever it is. Like, it's just all very.
So it's good for the board to leave them in the sun.
It is.
If that was true, your boards would be the most loved boards ever.
I just heard Pyzel say he can make a normal foam surfboard in 15 minutes.
No.
Wow!
That's one thing I
Wait a second here.
I got this order.
Everyone's like, every surfboard maker in the world right now is just like, that asshole. That guy's an asshole.
He's out of
I've
us.
seen it.
They figured this
You
out.
can use like sun cure resin, like UV resin. If you have a light box, or even you just literally put it outside on a rack in the sun, that stuff gets hard in 10 minutes.
Does it turn yellow if you leave it in the sun?
No, it's the other way around. It's actually yellow as you're glassing it. You put it out in the sun and it whitens and clears on it.
But then over time, when you leave it in the sun, it just gets yellow.
All boards do.
Yeah.
The difference there is, there's two things with epoxy boards get really weird yellow. Like,
They do.
Right?
They tan.
so that's the resin turning the color, whereas regular boards, the foam is, the resin stabilizes a little bit less. It's not so much changing color as the foam itself is getting tan.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like, you can strip off the like a cloth, like pull the fiberglass off an old board and it's brown underneath. You pull the fiberglass off like an epoxy or EPS and it's gonna be white foam.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a trip.
It's trippy.
Some chemistry going on.
Well,
here.
look, you see, like, that's the worst thing about EPS too, is that foam takes 500 years to break down.
Oh,
It's
God.
a fucking nightmare. So, like, that's another, let me break another myth here.
Okay.
That those are environmentally friendly surfboards is just total bullshit.
Yeah, what is?
Epoxy. People are always like, oh, it's epoxy, it's made with environmentally friendly bioresin or
I didn't even know. I never
But
heard that.
well, there's resins that are definitely better as far as like environmentally sound. Epoxy resin can be made out of stuff that's not as damaging to the environment as regular resin, and it doesn't give off as many fumes, which are bad for the environment. All this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the core of the blank
Is the same.
no, the blank of a epoxy board is a horrible thing. It's
Really?
it does not break down for 500 years.
Oof.
If
It
you
looks
took a
like-
regular blank and leave that thing out in the garden in the rain and the dirt and stuff, like those things, they deteriorate. And I'm not
Because
saying
of the smaller, more
they
the
just
cells
turn it,
and, like,
whatever it is.
turn
They
to dust.
they definitely. I'm not saying that they're good for your garden.
Yeah, no more boards in your
They're good to
garden.
plant seeds. Yeah, put your little boards in the garden. I'm just saying that the actual core of the boards, the styrofoam is the worst thing you can build a surfboard with environmentally. Like literally, it's 500 years
So the
in a
EPS
landfill.
the EPS foam you use is the same foam as you get in like when you buy something from Costco or something. It comes in that packaging.
It's
It's like that.
coolers or a cup,
Yeah.
like old style foam cup. Or
What about
whatever.
soft tops?
Soft tops are. There's a lot of different parts to that.
What?
The ones
Really
like
have
the
to
boards
get
that we
into the
make,
environmental part of all this.
huh?
No.
Well,
no, but
They're definitely not like the best. No, all like surfboards aren't good for the environment. Period.
Yeah.
Right. And so for us, like the way I think about it is like, for one thing, like that we do at our like Pyzel Surfboards does, is we give $1 for every board we sell to this company called Grow Ahead that like helps. They don't just like plant a tree. We kind of like state it simply as like one board equals one tree, but what they do is they support all these like or like agricultural stuff around the world through all these different communities and all this stuff. So they're actually like taking our money that comes from sales that we give to these guys and like helping like farmers or families in different communities help start
that's
farming
awesome.
initiatives
that's
and all this
awesome.
stuff. Yeah, it's super cool.
That's super cool.
So we like it's terrible. Like making surfboards is bad.
I feel
basically.
like the small little percentage in the entire world that is making surfboards
It's
is
really small, for
nothing
sure.
compared to what really has to change for that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff, like
it's nothing,
environmentally.
yeah.
So, I mean,
It is.
I don't-
It's nothing, but it's still something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
It's
guess.
not like in the big picture. It's just this little drop, but it's
Yeah.
still like for us. If we just totally ignore it and just be like, "Fuck it, we're making surfboards, it's killer," like then that's
Yeah.
kind of dumb.
yeah.
I
But-
mean, yeah, obviously.
but-
I find it funny when I get like attacked or like I see other people get attacked for
Yeah.
like a surfboard and like on social media or something like, oh, something about the environment, blah blah blah. Like, yeah, it's not great, but nothing's gonna change until like these other
Yeah,
massive
I mean, you just
corporations change stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
there's a lot of bigger issues than
Yeah,
building a
than
couple
making surfboards.
Yeah, even if you took like the entire surfboard industry, it's probably pretty miniature compared to, I mean, just
Tiny.
think about like cars.
It's not even-
All you
yeah.
gotta do is think about like what cars do, or I mean, that's psycho. compared
When
to
you
that.
first started shaping, did you were you just shaping, or was your goal to make a business out of it? Like, did you ever think Pyzel would be a global surfboard company, ran in multiple countries, being used by everybody?
For me, I always I always just see like, I just wanted to do what I was doing, and like I'm just like looking right here, kind of. But Dally, my wife, is gnarly, as you may know, and she has a bigger, broader view of things, and she's always just like, do whatever we can make this, like, do whatever we want, make it as big as we want, or you know.
So she was like, let's scale and grow.
For
And
sure.
you were like,
She had a bigger vision than me.
Yeah.
She was like, you're looking here, you could be here.
Yeah.
That's the
Business-wise,
That's
which
the
is
epic
cool.
like partnership though.
Yeah.
Like
No, she's
your
awesome.
wife has
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and you have the talent to make
sure.
the boards, and she's like, let's make
And
it big.
I don't want to have.
You don't want to have to do it because you want to focus on making good.
And she didn't
surfboards.
necessarily want to do all the stuff she had to do.
But she was good at it, so she had to do it.
Yeah. And then
Good talent.
and then she learned a lot of stuff along the way too. It wasn't like she was like a business major and like, here's the plan, like let's write out the business plan. It was more like, where are we at today? Like, how do we get to here? You know, and then she'd learn how to get to there. Or how do I deal with this? And then we, you know, together, I'd say she learned more than I did. But and then finally we got to a point where we're like, okay, we've gone as far as we can go on our own. Like, we can't keep Googling, you know.
How to start a business 20 years into being surfboards. 20 years, How to create an LLC.
So that's like when we've hired Dan, who runs our business now.
Oh,
you know,
cool.
we actually, there's a couple guys before him, but like we're like, we have to like get somebody that knows like how to run something that's bigger than we already are. Not like how to figure out how to get a little higher up and a little higher up.
So
That was pretty tough.
I can't imagine. When did you start making surfboards? Like, when did Pyzel Surfboards start? How long has it been?
So long ago, but I mean, like 25 years ago, 26,
Really?
20, something like that.
Here on North Shore.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pretty funny.
Did people...
It was like this, super tiny, made my own boards, and then I was still getting boards from Bushman, so I was getting like guns from Bushman because I was afraid to make gun, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna go pal out in like big waves on a board I made without knowing what, you know what I mean? I was like, let me itch my way into it.
Yeah.
And then so I just started making my shortboards, and then I started making like friends, you know, a friend would be like, all right, I'll get a board, you know, $200 here, I'll make you a board, whatever. Just super slow. Took a long time.
That's dope.
That's sick.
I think the first gnarly guy for me that I ever made a board for was like Noah Johnson, and Noah was gnarly back then. You know,
He won the Eddies.
Yeah,
Super gnarly.
Yeah, it was before that probably, but
Did
I
he
didn't
win
make
the
a board.
Eddie on a Pyzel?
No, that was on a Morris Skull. But like he like ordered a board from me. Like, oh, I was sick. Like I was stoked. You know, like guys like that. He was ripping.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Did you have any like mentors or like people showing you?
Bushman helped me a lot. Tons, yeah.
I see Bushy almost every day by the gym. He's such a legend.
Yeah, he's sick. He's so cool. Yeah, he was just like, he helped me with everything.
That's awesome.
And then he gave me a job, so I was working for him.
Oh, sick.
While I was shaping for him.
Yeah.
While I was like trying to figure out shaping.
Oh, mental.
Yeah.
It was full on little mentorship going on.
Oh, super sick. Yeah. Like whatever you need. Like that's pretty cool. Surfboards like back then, especially like guys weren't really that cool. Shapers were kind of like Al Chapman would see me and just be like, literally Al Chapman would see me, he's all, you think you're somebody special?
That's like the cop.
Oh yeah. How was that? He's all, you're not special. I saw your thing. You're not special. You're all, dude, I'm just stuck here in the middle of the road.
I have to get down to the contest.
Dude,
and your friend just told me to go through.
That's so funny.
The other cop.
I love you're all, officer asshole.
Jack put that on there. It was genius. He just woke up angry.
He was so mean, huh?
It was crazy too
No,
because
I just have to go right over there. He's like, that guy was snappy.
he made me turn around, park. Luckily, I could park it.
How did you even turn around right there?
It was just
that must
a
have been
nightmare.
impossible.
Nightmare. Ian
You're
Walsh was behind
you're
me
like
too.
so stuck. You're just like,
Yeah.
It was the most stressful thing ever. And then as I park
You should
everything.
just like walked away from your car. You should just got out and
I almost
just
did.
turned
You
it off.
did.
Walked away like, okay, buddy.
Okay,
You
deal
said
with
so.
this.
Some random guy was
That
like,
would've
if
been
you
gnarly.
want me to just drive your car back over there, you could just take your boards down.
Here's my keys.
That's not
Whoa,
good.
that's hold on
The
a
rest of the
second,
story
buddy.
is, I don't have a car anymore.
Anyway, my truck is gone.
Anyway, the guy opened the road up because he blocked the traffic with his little fucking quad and opened the road up.
Quad cop. Those guys are the worst.
Open
I got
the
a
road
ticket
up
the other day from
as I'm running
on
down.
Cam Highway.
For what?
They pulled me over.
On the quad?
Quad
Must have been
cop.
driving like a grandma. From the
Yeah, like,
just Nate's going 15 miles an
you
hour.
got a ticket for going too slow.
That was so embarrassing. Quad cop.
What'd you
pulled
get a
me
ticket
over. He said I had one hand on my wheel, and if they say he was like, if you have one hand on your wheel, we just automatically
You're
consider
on the
you on
phone.
your phone.
Wow, that's the new rule, so you have to drive like
That's
this?
what he said.
Is that the new law?
And I was like,
Those
no, no,
guys are
no.
out of
And he's
their
like, no, it doesn't
minds.
matter. We see one hand, we assume you're on your phone. Here's a
Wow.
phone ticket.
Where are you on your phone?
Of course.
That's not the point. The point is a quad cop
He
pulled
can't
me
see it.
over.
I wonder if it was the same guy.
What about when I called the cops on the quad cops on the beach?
That is inception.
Tell us that.
Those
Tell us
guys-
that story. Tell us
they're
that
on
story.
their minds.
You gotta scoot in a little bit.
Dude, moving out of frame.
Jeez. Trying to get out of frame. It's supposed to be a podcast, not a vlog. This is your new. You guys have 3 vlogs
you
now.
called the cops on the quad
Dude, those
cop.
guys would drive on the beach going like 40, just joyriding. I'd see them. They're all
So
They're all
Yeah.
like, and then they go up right next to the vegetation line, like they're going right by the bushes,
Yeah.
going 40. And I'm like,
Enhancing
how many
erosion.
5-year-old kids? No, how many little kids just run out of their house all?
Yeah,
Mom,
it's
I'm
like
going
to the
swimming,
beach.
and just like taken out by a cop.
That's
Yeah.
Dude,
hectic.
it's so gnarly.
So
So they're
Valid
doing that.
reason.
I actually talked to the guy. I'm like, hey, excuse me. And the guy looked like The Rock. He was just like, raw. and I'm like, hey, do you think you guys could like, you're not
Slow
like
down.
chasing criminals right now. There's no guy. There's no one in front of you. Like you're not like,
Yeah.
there's nobody there. You guys are just having a super good time. Like just slow it down.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, he's all eggy and whatever. And so I saw him again. Like there was like 4 of them.
Yeah.
So I just
I've
called the
seen them
cops.
fly.
I called Mililani. I got the Wahiwa police station. I got like the direct number.
No way.
And I'm like, do you guys happen to have ATVs deployed on the beaches on the North Shore right now? They're like, yes, we do. I'm all, they're driving like assholes. Like
They're driving
they're
40
gonna
miles
kill
an
a
hour
kid right now.
through
And
families.
the lady was like, you're not the first call we got today. Like
Wow.
the other
No way.
people called them.
Wow.
It's just gnarly.
So you can
It's
call the
so
cops on the
sketchy.
cops.
Totally, it's super fun.
That's good to know. I'm the next time a cop pulls me over, I'm gonna call the cops.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse me.
One of your
just
quad
call-
cops
just
pulled
a minute.
me over on Ham Highway.
I had both hands. I wasn't on my phone. I wasn't.
I wasn't on my phone, but I am now while calling you because I'm getting pulled over.
I'm parked now and he's trying to arrest me.
Yeah, if you see cops, dude, that's just dumb. Like that's dangerous behavior.
Yeah,
yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
one thing if they're like, that guy murdered someone. We're gonna go get him. He's
Yeah,
gonna
they're
murder
like
more
on a
people.
chase.
Let's go. He has a gun.
Yeah.
I'd be all for the cops
Yeah, if
speeding.
they're on him.
But they're doing
Yeah,
nothing. Like what are they gonna bust? Like, is your mom letting Leroy off the leash?
Dude, I saw them one time during COVID.
Yeah,
The quad cops
they were
pull
not-
up in front of Rockies,
Yeah.
and you weren't allowed to be on the beach. They ticketed a pregnant lady laying by herself at Rocky Point.
Yeah, that was
$5
so
grand.
bad.
There's definitely
dude.
some low points.
So
I
bad.
saw Lydia, not your
crazy.
Lydia, but Kalani's wife,
Mhm.
Bib.
Yeah.
I saw her get a ticket with her kid at the beach right there with cops, and I'm all. I was
That's
sitting in my yard. I'm all, what are you guys doing?
That is the lamest thing ever.
Yeah, it
That's
was gnarly.
crazy,
I think
dude.
she got out of it, but it was just. She was with her little kid by themselves swimming at the beach.
So
I was
out.
like, that was lame.
So sad.
Anyways, cops and ATVs on the beach on the North Shore.
And on the highway.
Just. They need to look out for people like me.
Block the road.
Somebody's got to take care of that.
Okay.
Did you get?
What about
Did you get a no
boards
insurance
for
ticket
wave
too?
pools? We'll just forget about the
Yeah,
ticket.
but let's get back on the subject of surfboards.
Do
Okay.
you shape boards specific for pools? Like, say the pool event John's got
I-
or had?
I have in the past, yeah, but I haven't like. There's not like a lot of feedback on it, really. You know what I mean? Like,
So how different do surfboards float in a wave pool?
see, that's
And
a
the
true thing.
ocean,
Freshwater,
Yeah,
it
I
should
was
be
curious
less.
about that.
Yeah.
Here's another thing about floating in surfboards. Okay, a surfboard really, if you think about it, right? When you are paddling, you feel that flotation. You're going slow. You're in the water.
You're feeling that thing. Even when you're standing up, you're not moving yet. As soon as your board gets like up on a plane, you know when you're on a jet ski or a boat and you're like, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoop. It's like you get up on the plane and you're like free. That same amount of gas goes way faster. Even, you know what I mean? It's the same with surfboards.
Yeah.
So once you're on top of the water and you're not like in it, that flotation is a lot less relevant.
So would you say like
right?
It would almost be helpful
like,
for an average guy, like if he's having struggle paddling, to just add volume to their normal equipment.
For sure. Well, two things too: volume, and then you could say weight, like get a lighter board. So that's why you see a lot more beginners or earlier intermediates on epoxy boards, right? EPS boards. They're lighter. But also the design of the board. If the board's like a full high performance, like rockered out board, that thing is like pushing through the water.
Yeah, and
if you're on a flatter board that's like more of a fishy kind of thing with less rocker, it glides across the water faster, and it also gets up on top of the water faster and stays on top of the water easier.
Because that's probably why I usually see beginners mainly gravitate towards like more fish.
Yeah, they're more stable. They're easy to paddle.
Yeah,
and you can, and they're not trying to. They're not capable of like blowing out their tail. Like they can't do big turns and stuff, so why bother having a board that can?
You don't need like the most tech high performance board.
And then you like build your way up to that if you're like truly a surfer that wants to get better. You know what I mean?
What board of yours do you recommend to like beginners or like intermediate?
The Gremlin is super fun. It's like a little chunky board, real stubby, fat, little chunky board, and then
I would say the Mini Ghost now.
The Mini Ghost is pretty good, but even the Mini Ghost, it's super. But that's still like
fat little board.
But it's still more of an intermediate board, I would say. Like I wouldn't say like, oh, you're going from a longboard to that. That would be a big jump. But that board, the Astro Pop that I have, is really good for that. It's like flat, but it's real loose and fast and fun.
And what fin setup?
Quad usually for that board.
Really?
Yeah. Just like fast.
For that like beginner to intermediate.
Well, no, I think a thruster probably is better.
Be
for
a little
that,
less
just, like,
squirrely,
easier. But the quads kind of get speed easier, I feel like. Like a thruster's more performance turns, and then a quad's more like
beginner.
Kind of.
And
for
big beginners, maybe you're
the most beginner and the most advanced guys. Right? In between, there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different moves. What fins did you ride in the Eddy?
I don't even know. I just had these old pair of Future fins that were just super stiff glass ones.
And what about you? You had sorry, I seriously didn't mean that.
I
forgot about that too. I was like interested to see what you guys.
I would have.
You didn't really place that high in the Eddy this year.
A thruster.
I didn't see
I would have ridden a thruster for sure.
Yeah.
I would have too. I would have tried it.
I'd say the majority of guys by far were on quads, right?
Everyone was on a
quad. I saw Twiggy on a thruster.
Twiggy's been on the 3-fin thing for a little while.
I bet Ross Clark Jones. I will bet $1 million Ross Clark Jones was on a thruster.
Or was he on a single fin?
Whatever he was on, his crawl up the beach was all time.
Did he crawl up the beach?
Someone decided not to help him and take a photo of him, like crawling like the.
Ross, wherever you are, we want you on the podcast.
Yeah, we need
Ross on this thing. He's a savage.
He's a legend. We got the best clip of him in our most recent video at the end of it.
Really?
It's so sick. He's just like telling a story. He's got it's just this born maniac on his chest, and he just is telling a story all aggressive.
The most truth.
And then just turns around and grabs a beer from someone and just starts slamming it. No audio. We don't know what he's saying. It's amazing.
He grabs him his beer.
Love that, dude.
That guy is a savage.
Did people call you Pyzel before you started shaping surfboards, or is that only after you started?
My whole life.
You've just been called Pyzel.
John? Like, my name's John. How many Johns do you know? Your brother.
John.
My dad, my brother, you.
Yeah, a lot of Johns.
A lot of Johns there.
For like people my age, there's a lot of Johns.
So you're always Pyzel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my friends.
I always wondered that. I'm like, did people call you John before you started shaping surfboards?
Yeah,
oh, good to know.
I love when there's like little kids, like even like Jacqueline when she was little, she called Uncle Pyzel.
Yeah.
So funny. All these little kids. Hey, Uncle Pyzel.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Pretty classic.
Well, cool, dude.
Right,
I think we can wrap it up.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. I don't even know how long that was.
Where do I go to get my check?
We're gonna tell
I'll have to write you guys a check.
Yeah, you gotta pay us to be on here.
Bro,
big boy.
please.
I heard Vaya.
Oh yeah, man.
Vela?
Don't laugh now, buddy.
He's gonna sponsor us.
Oh yeah. Oh, Vea. The new
Vea,
sponsorship
that's how I
rate.
said it. Cool.
I think it's sponsored by C4 Energy.
Yes.
Celsius.
Nathan didn't crack. Oh yeah. You guys are
Celsius.
bad.
Competing energy sponsors.
Okay, should we all thank our sponsors now? Thanks a lot.
Yeah, anybody you want to shout out? Your new company, Surfboards.
Anything
Nate and Koa.
Super fun. I'm just really proud to be your guys' first guest.
Yeah.
Stoked to have
I'm
you.
the only guy that answered the call today.
We wanted you in the start.
You're all not our first request for a guest, but our first one that actually showed up.
You're the first person we wrote for a guest.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Yeah,
That's special. I like that.
Well, thanks. Okay.
All right.
It's fun. Okay.
Okay, that's a
See ya.
wrap. That was a long time.
Was it?
Well, look, I just got a text from somebody that says FBX.